I was talking with a client the other day about how every day he shows up, does his work, and then goes home. But he started to realize that something was missing. And so now he is dreading Monday mornings and simply living for the weekend. This client's story is not unique, but it doesn't have to be this way. From the very beginning, I believe that God created work to be something noble, something meaningful, something sacred. Adam was given the task of tending and keeping the garden even before the fall. He was charged to work in the garden even before sin entered the picture. Certainly, sin has now brought as many thorns and thistles along the way, but I think there's still something about work that is essential to our masculine formation. But we're formed through our work not because of a particular job or particular role, but how we show up and the why that motivates us in showing up. And so to rediscover life in our work, we have to go beyond the assumption of if we can just find the right job, then everything will be okay. And this is where it's helpful to step back and make the distinction between a job, a career, and a calling. Our job is simply those immediate tasks that we do today in order to earn a paycheck. Our career then becomes a series of jobs within a given field or profession. Calling is then our life mission, the intersection of who we were created to be and serve. My first job was at 15, working at CC's Pizza. I started off as a busboy and then finally worked my way up to, hi, welcome to CC's. Clearly, as a high school student, this was just a job. I had no career aspirations to work in the pizza industry. I didn't have a particular calling to pizza either. But it still was a meaningful job in that it allowed me to earn some money so that I could pay for gas and help pay for my car insurance. And in some ways, as adults, we may find ourselves in a similar position still, that our job is just a job, but it has meaning not because it's a particular job, because of what it allows us to do. If it allows us to pay our bills, to put a roof over our head, to put food on our table, then a job can be meaningful even if we don't have a passion for the particular position itself. Perhaps this is easier to see when we consider it from the perspective of a career. They were often willing to endure all sorts of jobs in order to advance their career. And coming into the counseling profession, I started off as an unpaid intern. And so it made sense that I was willing to endure that season of unpaid employment in order to advance my career in counseling. And this is true for many of us as well. We may be dealing with a difficult boss or coworkers that we don't like. We may be dealing with long hours or a hectic travel schedule, but we're able to endure those things for a season when we see that it's advancing our career. And understanding our calling gives us even greater clarity. When we know who we are and what we've been called to do, then we're able to put our particular job and even career into proper perspective. That we're willing to endure all sorts of jobs and even various careers in order to advance our calling. We can see this in the Apostle Paul. By profession, by trade, he was a tent maker, but his calling was in preaching the gospel of Christ. Maybe Paul was passionate about making tents. We don't know. By the time he was introduced to Christ, his passion for tent making didn't matter. What mattered was him advancing the gospel of Christ. And so his tent making now became a means to do that. And so in the same way, our life should now become orientated around the calling that Christ has given us. And so a good job is now defined by its ability to help us advance the calling that God has placed on our life. But this frees us to do all sorts of jobs and pursue all sorts of careers. Our careers may change from season to season, and it doesn't matter so much of the particular career or the particular job, but only does this allow me to advance the calling that God has placed on my life. Many of us have not spent time considering the deep desires of our heart or the work that God has called us to do. And so we might find ourselves with a job, with a career that gives us status, gives us security, gives us money, but it's still lacking in meaning. Externally, we have nothing to complain about, but there's still something deeply missing in our work. I believe we've been made for more than just surviving for the weekend. I believe we each have our unique talents, gifts, and abilities that not only are meant to delight our own soul, but to be a blessing in our service to others as well. And so if you want to start loving Mondays again, then take the time to consider your calling. And if your current job and career isn't aligned with that, it may be that as you reflect on these things, it reaffirms what you're already doing. Or it may challenge you to shift gears and to correct so that your job, your career is in line with that deeper calling, that deeper purpose that God has given you. If this resonates with you, then like and subscribe so we can continue this conversation of how we can rise and reign as kingdom men, not only in our work, but throughout our life and relationships. In the meantime, check out this next video on why having a loving family around us is not enough.